Borussia Dortmund next season with Nuri Sahin as head coach slash manager. And yeah, Nuri Sahin is in Wales for the pro badge required for a head coach slash manager at a Bundesliga club. And yeah, Nuri Sahin has said for next season basically that he's aiming for Borussia Dortmund to play attacking football. So yeah, if that's a if that's a style of play like attacking football, and yeah, that's the style of play, then that's something to build with potentially. And yeah, he also said like last season Borussia Dortmund played by Leverkusen, and Borussia Dortmund had about 35% possession, but would rather Borussia Dortmund had more possession with the football basically. So yeah, that's interesting. But then the season just played, it's a tactical Borussia Dortmund, and yeah, had types of matches tactically and got to Champions League final for that competition 2 rounds further than predicted, winning types of matches. But yeah, Nuri Sahin maybe more style of play potentially with attacking football style of play. But yeah, there's adjustments to the squad. Matt Hummels and Marco Reus have left. But Borussia Dortmund have signed 2 players, Waldemar Anton, centre back from Stuttgart, to replace Matt Hummels basically, and Serhu Guirassy from Stuttgart, 25 goal plus season forward, got pace and gets shots in and an alright enough finisher. So potentially the first goal scoring forward of 25 goals plus a season for Borussia Dortmund after Erling Haaland. So yeah, 2 right enough signings with a month till the start of the season. But yeah, there's interest in players to be signed from other clubs, like for Karam Adeyemi, Daniel Marlin, Nico Schlotterbeck. So yeah, there may still be players sold as well as signed just to utilise the budget a bit for the football club. But yeah, like there's potentially like Borussia Dortmund have got in like are interested in signing Jan Kuto, an attacking right back from Man City that had that had an alright enough rated season at Girona the season just played. So yeah, that potentially be an alright enough signing, albeit Borussia Dortmund and Man City is meeting on a price basically for with the transfer fee. And Pascal Gross from Brighton, maybe a price being met, and maybe potentially a deal with that potentially for Pascal Gross, a squad player option. But for these 2 players, it's a bit 50-50 if they'll sign for Borussia Dortmund. I'll say that squad depth with the main first team squad for next season, I'd say potentially a midfielder or a centre back and an attacking midfielder slash winger. Well, unless a player like Giovanni Reina plays a bit, just been on loan at Nottingham Forest. Like, unless Giovanni Reina played a bit, but he may be sold, maybe. So that may be required. AC Milan had interest in Niklas Füllkrug, but AC Milan have just signed Alvaro Morata for 11 million from Atletico Madrid. So maybe Füllkrug will be at Borussia Dortmund another season. Sebastian Haller may be sold, and maybe Youssef Makoko. So it may be that Serhu Guirassy and Niklas Füllkrug may be the 2 forwards, potentially the 2 main forwards centrally going into the season, maybe. But Nuri Sahin has said as well, probably not going to be going into the season with 4 main central forward players. So yeah, so there's probably still a bit on transfers with players signed and sold a bit still. left. But yeah, good to have got two right enough signings with them until the start of the season. So, but yeah, it's interesting that Sahin said to basically be playing attacking football next season with a, like, if that's style of play, potentially something to build with. But yeah, but even with that, yeah, it's going to be having all right enough matches and results as well with that. Like, for Borussia Dortmund, the classical culture of the football club, the main aim is to compete with Bayern Munich / Bayern München for domestic trophies in the Bundesliga or DFB Pokal or both for Borussia Dortmund / BFLB. But yeah, if the season starts all right, like, if the season starts all right enough, Borussia Dortmund having all right enough matches and results, and yeah, like, if like that'd be all right enough. Like, if they're balling and winning and like competing for the league and Pokal or one or the other over the season, yeah, that'd be all right enough. The first half of the season will be big for Borussia Dortmund season next season. Like, to be basically within 4 points of the top of the Bundesliga at the half, like, point of the season and into the quarterfinals of DFB Pokal for the second half of the season would be potentially like 1 to 2 competitions to compete for with the Bundesliga and DFB Pokal. And I'd say it's a big season domestically next season for Borussia Dortmund. The last 2 seasons, like, finished 71 points each with Bayern Munich, not quite won league, but competed for it. And then finished 5th this season, just played, but got to the Champions League final, 2 rounds further than predicted, basically, and quite something to have got to a Champions League final. So, yeah, like, competed for the Bundesliga one season and got to the Champions League final season after, but domestically it's been mixed the last 2 seasons. So this season domestically is a big one, I'd say. And as for the Champions League next season, expanded Champions League, well, it's potentially more of an attacking football style to play Borussia Dortmund to the tactical one that just got to a Champions League final. So that adjustment next season in that competition will be interesting. But domestically, it's a big season next season domestically, and having got to a Champions League final, maybe like win a trophy next season. Like, potentially German football next season domestically is competitive. Like, yes, Stuttgart have sold Anton and Grassi, but they have signed Demirovic, Edim Demirovic from Augsburg, scored like 15 goals for them last season for Augsburg, and Stuttgart have signed that player. And they'll probably sign a replacement for Anton. They have still got a talented manager and head coach in Sebastian Honesch. And yeah, I'll still say they'll be top 5. I'll say they'll be more 5th a season to be played, but I'll say they'll adjust their squad a bit. And yeah, with their head coach manager Sebastian Honesch, I'll say they'll be top 5 but 5th. Bayer Leverkusen, I'd say are slight favourites for the league, Bundesliga going into the season, as they've got Xabi Alonso for another season, like talented manager and head coach that won them a domestic double, unbeaten Bundesliga and DFB Pokal in the season just played. Bayern Munich, good signings, but whether they've got the head coach / manager to win a trophy this season, like upcoming, bit 50-50. RB Leipzig got talented players. And yeah, Borussia Dortmund, yeah, I'll say, like, potentially there's an attacking football style to play next season, and potentially there'll be options in the squad player-wise next season. The main thing I'll say is it'll be that there'll be more with transfers in one of the next slides with German football transfers for next season, or German football transfers for the season, basically. But yeah, it's one, how many all right enough matches and results are Borussia Dortmund having with Nuri Sahin next season? That's one. And two, like, the other is like the main first team squad depth. Now, there's a few upcoming players potentially in the first team squad next season. Cole Campbell, a forward player, is basically in the first team squad for next season. Paris Brunner, maybe potentially a winger, and and Almugara, Almugara, Almugara Kabar, potentially a defender player. So yeah, there's potentially a few upcoming players into the first team squad next season, but it's having enough for the main first team squad depth, I'd say. Like Tom Rota's just had a loan at Holstein Kiel season, just played regularly for Holstein Kiel. They got promoted from Zwei Bundesliga to the Bundesliga. Tom Rota played regularly for them in that season. Jan Kuto, yeah, if he's signed, yeah, and potentially that may be an alright enough signing, attacking type right back. Like Borussia Dortmund last 2 seasons have had attacking type left backs or right backs, been attacking left backs last 2 seasons in Rafael Guerrero and then on loan the season just played Ian Matson. So yeah, to get potentially a talented attacking right back in Jan Kuto potentially be all right enough. So yeah, if he signed potentially maybe Kuto at right back, Reyerson at left back, and maybe 2 centre backs of Slotterbeck and Anton, albeit there is interest in Nico Slotterbeck from Real Madrid. If it's a 4-2-3-1, like chance a bit, so maybe his main midfield is still Julian Brandt centrally as one of the 3 just off the main forward. Jamie Byner-Gittins on left. I'll say Jamie Byner-Gittins will play more regular matches next season. Cam Adeyemi and Daniel Marlin may potentially be sold. So I'll say Jamie Byner-Gittins may potentially start matches regular next season. But he's a talented player and all right enough level player to start matches anyway. And maybe potentially on the right, if Borussia Dortmund signed a winger / attacking midfielder, maybe a player down the right and Garassi in the centre. Like, but maybe players for the two on the right in a 4-3-3, like forward 3, maybe potentially. But like what Nuri Sahin, whether Nuri Sahin will play 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, like the season just played, albeit an attacking football style of play rather than tactical football, I'm not sure. But yeah, like maybe like if Borussia Dortmund sign Pascal Gross and Jan Kuto, then I'd say after that an attacking midfielder / winger, then that's almost more or less the squad depth for the upcoming season. But yeah, it's like it's having enough of that. It's having enough of that squad depth. I'd say for match day 1, and by match day 1, I'd say first round DFB Pokal, let alone match day 1, the Bundesliga, Liga rather. And yeah, like so, potentially attacking midfielder / winger, like maybe to play right sided, maybe players that would be all right enough, like go by the season just played in the Bundesliga, like a season just played in the Bundesliga. Like got players like got Chris Furyk, another Stuttgart player, an attacking midfielder type player, like mainly a left winger, but yeah, Biner Gittins cutting side from the right. So yeah, have maybe Furyk left, Biner Gittins right, but Chris Furyk's mainly left winger and an attacking midfielder after that. But yeah, he's creative and got all right enough passing. So that's potentially a player that'll be all right enough for that. And I'd say there's maybe another one that potentially be all right enough. Bundesliga the season just played. That'd be all right enough. Maximilian Bayer of Hoffenheim. That's it. Maximilian Bayer of Hoffenheim. And yeah, last season scored like 16 goals for Hoffenheim. And he's mainly a striker, but plays attacking midfielder as well. And he mainly plays attacking midfielder for Hoffenheim and scores an amount of goals. So yeah, he may be play on the right as one of the three just off the main forward, with Julian Brandt in the middle and Jamie Biner Gittins on left. So Chris Furyk or a Maximilian Bayer, one of those two would be all right enough, I'd say, to slot in. And a signing like that would almost have the main first team squad depth for the season potentially if Jan Couto and Pascal Gross signed as well. But yeah, it'll be interesting, and yeah, it's going to be interesting going into the season. But still, like, there's more transfers, I'd say, potentially with players signed, but with players sold as well. If Marlon Adeyemi are sold, then a Furyk or Bayer would be good. Sign Guirassy, Haller and Makoko may be sold. If Füllkrug maybe at Borussia Dortmund for another season, with AC Milan having signed Alvaro Morata. So if it's Guirassy and Füllkrug, yeah, like Füllkrug's an alright enough option. Guirassy's a 25 goal per season forward. That'd be alright enough. And yeah, like if Asilai Ozcan got sold, maybe one more midfielder. If not, then yeah, that may be alright enough if Pascal Gross signed. Like Pascal Gross, more attacking midfielder, but still. And like if Real Madrid signed Nico Sotobit, and yeah, centre back is required. But yeah, a bit still remaining in transfers for players signed and sold. Potential transfers going into next season.